Hello, we are with Dr. Roland Drolet, the inventor of the RHUMART therapy. Dr. Drolet, I heard that you intend to write a book on the Electro spiritual meditation. Could you tell us more about it and its relationship with the wellness devices?
Okay, thank you for your question about electro spiritual meditation. It looks like a complicated subject, but really it involves the body and the spirit. The body in the sense that we use a PEMF system, in our case the RHUMART system that has been developed and used in Canada since 1980, but we combine it with the meditation practice when you are in a global session with the large ring, for instance. You feel relaxation, especially if you close your eyes and you try to feel what's happening within your body. Then you become in a meditation state, and some people have testified to the fact that after 10 minutes of RHUMART session with the global applicators, with the rings, they felt they were in the same state of mind as after 2 hours of meditation. So that's interesting. As far as the so-called wellness devices, this is a new category that has just been defined, about a month ago by the FDA, and it allows people who have different devices, PEMF or other devices, that don't really have serious side effects, I mean negative side effects, so that the people could use these type of devices at home, and medical doctors and therapists can use them in their clinics without waiting to have FDA approval like it used to be for over 50 years with a drug, with medication or medical drugs. So this is really a new era that is starting with the fact that FDA recognizes wellness devices. And as far as I'm concerned, as a scientist and as the inventor of the RHUMART system, I really always wanted to be ahead of time, so to speak. So I think now is the time to combine the idea of PEMF device or RHUMART therapy to whole body and spirit meditation. So helping people to be more aware of what they are, what they need, what they want to do in life. So the RHUMART system as a electro-spiritual meditation is a tool that will help anybody really get into deeper, more relaxed state of mind, and hopefully they will feel more relaxed and happier in their life. And this is like spreading powder, in a sense that from word of mouth, the more people will use this type of meditation, the more people will want to try it. So this is the word of mouth that I hope will make a diffusion of such an approach. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm in the process of writing a book that will be available probably in 1 year from now, about this whole concept and the scientific basis underneath that, which involves the nervous system, electrophysiology, and neurosciences. Okay, because we know today that when we do specific exercising and activities, not only the brain records these activities, but it strengthens certain synapses or the junction in the nervous system, and it can even help create new nervous cells. So this is how the scientists have become to talk about the brain the brain plasticity, because it is really developing and evolving as we do different activities. Okay, so is that the answer to your question?
Thank you very much, yes. Dr. Drolet, I have a few more questions that I'd like to ask you. First one is, how were the cells born?
Well, the first cells, I presume you...
Yes, that's what I meant. The
Okay.
first cells were born.
So, what I could say about that, what we call the primitive cells, let's say in the early atmosphere, we know that the lipids that we call are chains of positive and negative molecules that stick together and they build up like a chain, okay? And they are what we call hydrophobe. They don't like water. So actually they tend to grow in a long chain with an end positive, the other end negative. But then other chains are formed with the material that is in the primitive atmosphere, say. Okay? So with the laws of chemistry and physics, it just happens that the different chains stick together and then it piles up. And when there are enough of these chains, it becomes like a membrane. And then when the membrane happens to be too large or large enough, sometimes it did curl and close up on itself. So it made what we could call the first primitive cells. But then this is the cell membrane that is magical for the whole development and differentiation of cells and organisms. And since the phenomenon at the cell membrane level are directed with this positive and negative chain, remember I told you there is one end positive, one end negative, we know that in all cells the interior is negative with respect to the exterior. So, and the potential difference between the inside and the outside of the membrane is of the order of this is about 70 millivolts. But because of the short distance between the sides of the membrane, it corresponds to an electrical field of 7 million volts per meter. So this rest potential at cell membrane is kind of driving material inside the cell with sparks, electric lightning gets material in. So it flows, it throws more material in the cell than comes out. Okay, it's a selective membrane. So with time, this is how more and more complex molecules develop within the cells. So that defines life compared to the medium. And why do the cells divide? Well, shooting material all the time creates the division of the DNA, now we know, or that the hydrogen bound, we call, between the two branch of the DNA molecule, there is hydrogen bound that are fairly weak. So these are destroyed somehow, and each line of molecule or biochemical basis will start divide with a complementary. But when it has completely divided, then these chromosome or these DNA cell will have a same electric polarity. So because of that, they will repel each other. And then the cell will elongate, but still shooting material with this cell membrane directional semi-permeable membrane. It will get longer and longer until it divides, okay? And then the same process happens. So this is how from one cell, primitive cell that developed millions of life cycle, it happened to develop in so many different kinds of life, that it is a wonder, really, when we look at all the forms of life. But it's all started, it's all understandable, at least in the principle, physics of chemistry, help us understand how it could have developed from the basic electrophysiology, physics, and chemistry.
Dr. Drolet, the Big Bang Theory implies that before the big explosion there was nothing. So how can we explain the birth of matter?
From nothing.
From nothing,
Okay.
yes.
So this